May profits be upon you. May profits be upon you. I like saying that because I want those profits to just rain all over you without an umbrella. You understand? Okay, so we're going to go over the weekly Forex forecast that I just put out yesterday. We're just giving a Monday update. That's all we're doing. We're going to go through and we'll see where we're at. All right. Now, let's start out with the US dollar, the Dixie. All right. The Dixie, the US dollar index. All right. What were we looking for? Well, you see this big eye here. All right. What I was watching was the reaction to supply here. This is a supply zone. Price has been pushing down, pushing down, pushing down, pushing down. And then last week, it ended with price being pumped up because of what? Tariffs and trouble. The U.S. president having troubles with Zelensky and the Ukraine and Russia war and how that's going and how that's affecting oil prices and then announcing tariffs starting that brought U.S. prices, U.S. dollar value up. All right, and uh, consequently, the because there was a flight to safe haven because of tension and concern in the marketplace that uh, investors pull their money out of the riskier assets like the S&P, the Nasdaq and whatnot, and those prices took a tumble. All right, that was last week. Now, what did it do though? Price pushed up into a area of supply, and what do we expect an untouched area of supply to do? Push price back. All right, we'll look for rejection. That's what happened today, and you see, this was almost a full correction of this move that was news induced. All right, when I see a news induced kind of move, uh, 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 they tend to be temporary. They tend to be temporary. So I always watch, where are they pushing to? Well, they mitigated this supply, and we see price pushing back down. What do I expect from here? I'm looking for price to open to. Oops. I'm looking for price to form a bearish fair value gap here, right? That hasn't happened yet because this candle just opened. So, we can't look for that just yet, but I'm looking for price to uh, use this area of fair value, this fair value gap to to offer fair value, and I'm looking for price to pull back into it and then continue down. We have these lows as the draw on liquidity. All right. You see these lows over here. I have that as a lower liquidity, a low risk, a low resistance liquidity run. So yeah, we have good reason for price to continue lower. All right. If we go to the euro, we're looking for just the opposite. All right. After this long push, this very brutal push to the downside towards look, what do you call not equity, you know what I'm talking about, towards what is that term? It's escaping me right now. Where it has the value goes down to equal the dollar, the U.S. dollar. All right, parity. Golly, I said equity, parity. All right, so but it was heading down that way. All right. And we see how last week ended with this bearish push as the US dollar gained strength. It dragged down the euro. But this week, Monday, we see that it ran into this area of fair value, and there is a demand zone within that area of fair value, and price tapped it to the tick, and then we are pushing up. I'm looking at price to take out these highs here. All right, as the draw on liquidity. That's why my crooked eye here is crooked for some crazy reason. All right, and but I was watching to see what would price do with the bearish fair value gap that was right here. You remember it was there, right? It was a bearish fair value gap. And price disrespected it. That is a very bullish indication. All right, that is a very bullish indication for me. So I'm encouraged to think that price will pull back and then up, or could continue straight on up. All right, I'm looking for price to form a bullish fair value gap for price to use to go to, for higher prices. All right. If we go to the British pound is strongest among the uh, U.S. dollar. The dollar, the major FX pairs. All right, um, and you can see that today's candle pushed high, and but it was already. I had the eye there to see what would price do if we take a closer look. What would price do to the bullish fair value, a bearish fair value gap here? Would it respect it or not? Obviously, it disrespected it with this bullish candle. So that is what an indication of bullishness is. That's a very bullish indication. And we were watching also. I mentioned in the forecast, we have a weekly fair value gap here, a bullish fair value gap that price created, moved away from, and then came back to. I was looking for that area to hold. It did. There was a backup, a daily fair value gap located right under it, but we didn't need it. Apparently, this weekly fair value gap did just fine, pushing price up into this area of fair value. There is a buy to sell here. All right, but we didn't see the follow through. We're seeing it going the opposite way now, and I'm looking for higher prices after this. We'll probably get a bullish fair value gap. Price could sting into it and then push higher. All right. The weakest of the dollar pairs, the major pairs, is the Aussie. And you can see it had a very precipitous move to the downside there. There's that word again. Precipitous. I love it. All right. So uh, we were watching. You see that eye? We were watching to see how price will react to the bearish fair value gap here. This is Monday's candle. We didn't have that very big bullish move like we see in the euro and the pound, did we? All right, we see price respecting that's this fair value gap. All right, and it may lead to lower prices. Why do I think it'll lead to lower prices? Because there is a low here that price could be seeking. All right, I'm keeping my eye on it because parity. Parity because the draw on liquidity is pretty strong down there. All right, I was thinking that once we took these lows out, price would you know zoom, just start to pull back from here. But it may have unfinished business down there. It just may. So, I'm not automatically just saying, hey, we're going to go up. We're just going to push up higher. No, it's not automatic. All right. But what I do want you to note is this is the swing low. This is the swing high. This is the break of structure. Price pushed down and pulled up. This created this area of fair value, a very large area of fair value, right? Price pulled up and back into that area full value, fair value, and we want to see if price finds support for that move higher. This is the area we want to watch, and you see that eye and that line. I'm looking at that high right there because if we look on the 4-hour, you can see that we had a break here, a market structure shift there, and if we get another market structure shift there without taking out that low, price finds the support here and makes that high. We will have two market structure shifts. I'll wait for price to pull back into this area of fair value, and this will be a high probability trade to the upside, in my opinion. All right. If we move on to the New Zealand dollar, it's the same scenario. I don't have to go too far with it. We have that an area of fair value, price pushed into it, and we may see some lower prices down into this area of demand. All right. I didn't point out the area of demand on the Aussie, but it's there. All right. It's there. Price could find its support there and then turn around. All right. Just like we're waiting here. There is a very close area. These relative equal lows here could be the draw on liquidity. All right, price could use it has already stung into this area, this fair value gap, so we can see lower prices into here, and maybe we may find support as this is our protected low. We may find support here for higher prices. Okay, we don't have to sting too far into it because we have the same situation here, and this is about right around 705, 786 on your Fibonacci. If you take out your Fibonacci from here to here, we're right in the area where we would expect for price to find some kind of support. All right, if we go to the Canadian dollar, uh, we can see we since we've come past those COVID lows, we dived past it and pushed higher. We have the same situation, all right, where we have a bullish break of market structure and price pulling back into this bullish leg. Finding the demand zone here, price could find support and push higher. All right, now you see that little arrow I got there, all right, because I was looking at when we did the forecast, I was looking at that bearish fair value gap to see if price would respect it. I suspected that it would, and it did, and we pushed down into this bullish this demand zone here, and I suspect that we may find support here for higher prices as we make a higher high, a higher low. I'm looking for that higher low to lead to a higher high. We'll see. All right, because I'm looking for higher prices, but we'll see how oil treats that. All right, US dollar CAD, the US dollar CAD. This is the FX side of it. All right, what I was just showing you was the CAD futures. This is the US dollar CAD, and you can see looking for exactly the opposite. We have a price pushing back into the area of supply this time, and we may find resistance up here for lower prices. All right. Because this is US dollar led. Now, the Canadian dollar is weak, as I noted here. The Canadian dollar is weak because the oil is weak. The prices are going lower, so Canadian dollar is going to go lower. It's going to be outperformed by the US dollar, even though the US dollar is weak. Canadian dollar is a little weaker. All right. So it's going to struggle. It's going to struggle. This ain't my favorite market. This is not my favorite market, but we'll see what it does here. We'll keep an eye on it. Right. Uh, the Swiss dollar is different. All right. The Swiss dollar, the Swiss franc. I'm sorry. And but you can see we made a lower high, lower low, and uh, we are so close to taking out that draw on liquidity down at this swing low here. Very important swing low. There's a large liquidity pool under that. So I would think market makers would want to make one more push down and then up. All right. Maybe that comes with NFP this week. Who knows? All right. But what I see right now is prices has been respecting the bearish the discount arrays here. We have uh, a bullish fair value gap being respected here. We got another one here that was respected. Price moved higher from these areas, right? But we got that eye here. Why? Because there was a bearish fair value gap here, and we wanted to see if it would be respected. It looks like it's going to be disrespected here. All right, so that's a bullish indication to me. I'm looking for prices to move higher. This would be my draw on liquidity that high. I don't know why I don't have it marked, but if I can just make a mark and not embarrass myself anymore. Okay, there you go. All right. And we'll see what it does. We'll see what it does. All right. That's what I was looking for, to see if that would be disrespected. We should get some higher prices, I believe. All right. And if we look at the FX side, US dollar, Swiss franc, We will look just for the opposite. I'm looking for prices. You see how the bullish fair value gap was not respected. You see this bearish candle today coming down on it. Well, the bearish fair value gap, the bullish fair value gap is being disrespected. So I'm looking for prices to continue lower. That's all. This will be the draw. This is the area of fair value that I'm looking for price to come and tap into. We have this these lows over here, which act as low resistance liquidity run. So yeah, I think we have good reason to think price is going to get lower. So this, I'm not looking at that fair value gap anymore. I'm just waiting for price to pull back up and then down, pull back up and then down. All right. We'll look at the yen right now. The yen going to outperform the US dollar in this kind of environment when there's tension in the world, geopolitical tensions, and there's a concern. The the Japanese yen is the number one safe haven. US dollar being number two, a strong number two, by the way, but number two nonetheless. All right. So we see how price has pushed up, created a sell to buy area. This is our fair value area. Price pushed away from it, came back to it, found support, and you see how it is moving. I'm looking for prices to go higher. Period. We have these highs as the draw on liquidity, and this is the immediate one here. So yeah, the bias is bullish in US. I mean, in the Japanese yen futures, right? In the US dollar Japanese yen FXCM broker, the on their charts anyway. All right, if you trade FX pairs, uh, this is just the opposite. I'm looking for prices to go down. All right, you can see how price was created this sell. We have a buy up and a sharp sell off, creating an area of fair value here. Price moves away from it, comes back to it, stings into it, finds that demand zone, that supply zone, sorry, and we're going to see some lower prices. We have the immediate drawn liquidity there. We have a lows of resistance liquidity run here with these lows, easy stuff. And then we have this drawn liquidity there at that low. I'm looking for prices to go lower. That's it. All right. This is the overall area of fair value, and price offered that fair value. All right. And hey, that is the last one. That's the last one. We are done. I hope you appreciate the weekly um, uh, Forex updates here. The Monday update here on these on the forecast that I just gave. I posted yesterday. Uh, Leave a comment, leave a question if there's a market that you want me to take a look at and do some analysis on. Hey, just let me know. All right, and do leave me a comment. It helps the channel grow. That's why I need you to leave a comment, even if it's just a thumbs up. You can click the thumbs up button or the boost button. Help the channel to grow, will you? That's all I'm asking. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching, and may profits be upon you.